guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing some meal prep. Not quite meal prep, we are doing snack prep. We're prepping snacks. All right, if you're new here, hi, I'm Claire, welcome. Come on in, make yourself comfortable. We love a bit of meal prep over here on this channel. I also enjoy cooking single servings. I love to use my rice cooker, my slow cooker, and I also like a vintage recipe here and there. So if any of that sounds good to you, be sure to hit subscribe. Today we are prepping snacks, and that's because I am a frugal queen. I like to save money where I can, and I will tell you, the best way to save money is eating the food you have already bought. So I thought today I would prep some snacks using things I already had in the house. I was just like out of snacks, like my snack drawer looking a little weak right now. I do have 2 kids, although these snacks are for everybody. But the snack drawer was looking a little rough, and I thought instead of going to the store and buying more snacks, let's see what snacks I can make with things I already have. So I have 3 different recipes to share with you today. Very easy because I have about 1 hour before I have to go do stuff at the school. It's the last week of school. I'm on the PTO, so like we're in it, right? I got stuff I gotta do. So I have 1 hour to come up with these snacks. So I guess we better get into it. The first one we're making some cheese crackers. If you like Cheezits, these are even better. And there's only a few ingredients. All you need is cheese, flour, salt, butter, and a little bit of water. So barely ingredients. So fast and easy to put together. So let's do it. Okay, so if you've ever watched me do a Costco haul, you know I love these big blocks of cheese because there just is so many ways you can use them. They're very affordable, and I have like this big chunk left. So I am gonna weigh out 8 ounces. You're gonna need 8 ounces of cheese. Oh wow, 8.4 ounces. I eyeballed that really well. I'll just take a sliver off. I'm just gonna eat that. All right. I am using my food processor to make this recipe. I did get this at the thrift store. I paid 15 bucks for it, which kind of expensive for a thrift store item, but it's like a really nice one. And it's worked really well for me for many years. So if you don't have a food processor, I mean, you can do this by hand. This just makes it a little easier, especially because my cheese is not pre-shredded. If you're using already shredded cheese, you could definitely just use a spoon, but you know, I'm using what I got. But if you don't have a food processor, you should definitely check the thrift store. All right, throwing the cheese in there. Ideally, the butter should be soft. We have 4 tablespoons. However, I'm not prepared, okay? So my butter is not soft. So I'm gonna pop it in the microwave for a little bit of time. Not the full 30 seconds. It's not, I guess it probably doesn't matter if you make it a total liquid, but I'm just gonna try and soften it a bit. All right, time to put this together. We're gonna shred up the cheese. All right, it's nice little crumbles. Now we're gonna add our soft butter. I'm also gonna do just a few shakes of salt. We're also gonna add 1 cup of flour. You guys, somehow I have lost my 1 cup measuring cup. Like, where did it go? It's just gone. I don't know why. It's really strange. Excuse me using this gigantic knife to do that too. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time. I'm just using what I have laying around. Anyway, where is my 1 cup? It's gone, it ran away. I have no idea. So that's why for a little while you've been seeing me use the half cup. Okay, now we're gonna pulse it. And now, much like a pie crust, it's nice and crumbled. And now we're going to slowly add our water until it forms a dough. All right, we're doing 2 tablespoons of water, but I'm gonna start with 1. There. There we go. That took about 30 seconds for this to clump up into a nice little dough for us. Now it's time to roll these out. I'm gonna put a little bit of flour down. You can make these as thick or as thin as you want. The thinner they are, the crispier they are going to get. So if you like some nice crunch, then you're gonna want them to go pretty thin. You can make these into any shape. You could use like a cookie cutter if you wanted to. Guys, I'm making rustic little Cheezits here, okay? I'm just doing strips. I'm gonna do little squares. Well, that one's gonna be a big square. Like, could you use a ruler and make these look perfect? Yes. That's not the point here. They're going to be delicious either way. I'm gonna remove any that aren't squares, and we're gonna re-roll this out to make, you know, all the squares. Now these are going to puff up a little bit, like a real Cheez-It, so we're gonna make some holes in them. Now you can do a classic Cheez-It hole, or you can do more like, you know, little cracker holes. You can get really creative with your holes if you want. Since mine are like kind of large, I'm doing like a couple holes. All right, it's time to bake these. Throw in a little oil, even though, you know, there's a lot of fat in these because it is cheese, but I really don't want them to stick. And like, they're not gonna spread really, so they can be nice and close together on your baking dish. I use a stone. If you watch me, you've seen my stoneware collection. I prefer baking on a stone. That's my vibe, but use whatever baking sheet you have. It's not important. It'll turn out great no matter what. All right, it's time to put these in the oven. All right, so I have my oven set to 375. The amount of time is really going to depend on how thick you have made your crackers. It's gonna take anywhere from like 15 to 25 minutes, just depending on that thickness and, you know, like exactly what you're doing. I've made goldfish before, like little teeny goldfish. So cute, so fun, but that hardly takes any time. These, I'm gonna say, are gonna take 15 to 18 minutes, but we're gonna start at 15, then we'll take a look at them. All right, while those little cheese crackers are in the oven, we are going to make our next recipe, which is so easy, you don't even need to write this down. It's so easy to remember. We are going to be making some really delicious like Jell-O dessert cups. However, the trick is we are using Greek yogurt, so there's going to be a nice little protein kick in there. It's also like a little tangy, a little creamy, which is great, especially for my kids, to get them to get some sort of protein with their snack. And today we're using strawberry Jell-O, but you can use any type of Jell-O, and this is actually not Jell-O brand. It's from Aldi, because again, I like to save money and I like to use things I already have, and since I mostly shop at Aldi, these are things I always keep around. So we are going to make some of those. You can really easily just make this in a giant tub and keep it in your fridge and scoop it out. However, I find that I like the individual servings a lot, and I have these little teeny jars that I got at the thrift store. They just take like the classic like mason jar lid. I also have some of these that are a little bit bigger, but we'll see. So here's the recipe. Make your Jell-O as directed, where you put the boiling water in the mix of Jell-O, gelatin dessert, okay? Then, once that's dissolved, all you do is swap out the Greek yogurt for the cold water. That's all you do. You just swap it out in equal proportions. I also do want to note, you could use sugar-free Jell-O to make this like a lower calorie, lower sugar snack if you want. But I've just got it in the bowl here, and I'm adding 1 cup of water. Or 2 half cups, because you know my recent predicament. Please keep watching my videos and maybe one day we'll find it. Or maybe you'll just see me with a new set. Who knows? Anyway, dissolve it. All right, now it's time to add our yogurt, and the directions call for 1 cup of cold water. So we're gonna do 1 cup of yogurt. And because that water is like super hot, this will dissolve right away. I have this little ladle that I think is the perfect little size. I know, this totally looks like I'm creating jars of Pepto-Bismol. I also had orange Jell-O, and I was trying to decide between the two, but I thought strawberry would be better, but like orange would be good too. Be like creamsicle vibes. I wish I had 6 of these tiny ones, because that's what one of the small boxes of Jell-O will make, like 6, but we're gonna do 5, and 1 is gonna be big. These just need to be refrigerated for like an hour or so to firm up, and then they're good to go. All right, I'm gonna pop these in the fridge, which perfect timing because my oven is like just about to beep. Our crackers, there she is. They're done, perfect timing. Oh, they look so good. Look at how puffy yet crisp and delightful these little crackers are. I went ahead and turned my oven down to 350 because while these are cooling down, we're gonna make our third recipe. We're going to make some banana oat mini muffins, perfect for mornings when I need to eat something but I don't want to. I'm like not a breakfast girly. So for me, these are perfect for breakfast time. I can just eat a few with my coffee and we're good to go. So yeah, let's get into that. Got my mini muffin pan out. Let's get it done. All right, for these mini muffins, or I guess you could make regular size muffins, but I prefer a mini. Oats, doesn't really matter what kind. I think there are steel cut mixed with old fashioned in here. Why not? You're also going to need 2 bananas. These bananas have seen better days, which is why we're using them today. You're also going to need some baking powder. We've got milk, and okay, this is gonna be weird. If you're not new here, you know what's coming. You need 2 eggs. But my family, we raise quail. So I have 8 quail eggs, which is equivalent to 2 chicken eggs. So if you happen to have quail, you're gonna need 8 quail eggs. But if you're a normal human being, you're gonna need 2 chicken eggs, okay? And then we're also going to add a few chocolate chips. You could use cinnamon chips, you could use butterscotch, you could use nuts, and you could use nothing at all. If you don't have them, don't use them, it's fine. And then we're also going to use a little bit of sugar. You could skip this if you wanted this to not have any sugar in it, and it will still be pretty good. Because of the bananas, you know, we've got some sweetness in there. However, I want my children to eat it, so I'm gonna put sugar in it. But you're only gonna need a little bit. You could also substitute maple syrup if you like. All right, I'm gonna start by mashing up our bananas, which you can use like a couple of forks if you want, but I use a potato masher because I have one and it's fast and easy. Now we are going to add our oats. We're gonna need 3 cups. Now for our cinnamon, we're gonna do 1 nice heaping teaspoon. It's probably more like a teaspoon and a half of cinnamon. I love cinnamon, so the more the merrier in my opinion. We're also gonna do a teaspoon of baking powder as well. I'm gonna add a few dashes of salt, and of course all of this will be in the description down below. You don't have to remember it or pause the video and write it down and stuff. Now we're gonna add our eggs, which of course, because I like to make things complicated with the quail eggs, I gotta use my special little scissors. Quail egg shells are notoriously thick and very hard to like crack open, and if you do without the scissors, like you often will get like large chunks of shell in there, and nobody wants to eat that, so we use our little scissors. Now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar, which I think isn't really that much spread out into that many muffins, but again, skip it if you don't want it. Now we're going to do 1 cup of milk, and you could use soy milk or almond milk. I'm using 2% because that's what I got. Now I'm just gonna mix it all up. Now I'm gonna add my mini chocolate chips. I would say probably half a cup there, maybe a little bit more. I'm just gonna hit my little pan here with a little bit of oil. They do have that baking powder in there. They are gonna get, you know, a little bit puffed, but if you notice, we did not use any flour. Like, these aren't gonna get like big and puffy. Perfect if you are gluten-free. Also, this recipe is gonna make between 3 and 4 dozen mini muffins, depending kind of how much you pack in there, which is a lot. That's a lot of snacking, and we love that. So now I'm gonna put them in the oven. Again, I bumped it down to 350, and they're gonna take about 20 minutes. I really need to eat one of our Cheezits. They look so good. Oh my gosh. Look how cute that is. I hope you could hear the crunch on that. Oh, they're so tasty. I want to eat that whole pan. They're so good. Okay, so I know that the order in which I'm doing this is a little unhinged. I still have muffins in the oven. And I still have more Cheez-It dough to make. But I didn't want to waste any time, so we're just like going back and forth. Obviously, you don't have to try to do all these recipes at the same time like I am. But it is gonna make more than this. I'm gonna roll that out. We are gonna make it all today. Oh, they smell so good. Here we go, here's our muffins. Just feel like you need a close-up of how tasty these look, which is amazing because there is no flour. Love it. And in just about an hour, we got all of our snacks prepped. This should take us through the last week of school without having to go to the store to buy anything. Of course, not pictured is the other half of our muffins. I ended up just throwing that like batter in the fridge, which is, I guess, a snack prep in itself, right? Because now I can make them fresh in the morning. I just don't have time to put them in the oven right now, but they're prepped and ready to go for when I'm ready to bake them, and that'll last in there a few days, although I don't think I'll probably need a few days to eat them because they are very tasty. So anyway, there we go. I had less than an hour. I made enough snacks to last us, and I think even if none of these ingredients are things you already have in your house, or maybe even if they don't look like something that your family would enjoy, hopefully I can inspire you to maybe look at the ingredients you already have and try to make something out of them rather than run to the store to pick up some snacks, because I think that a little bit of creativity really goes a long way, and you can save a lot of money and waste way less food if you're willing to sort of make a muffin out of it or throw some flour with it and make it into a cracker. You know, there's a lot of different things that you can sort of use these ideas as inspiration for the ingredients you have hanging out in your own house. Of course, let me know what you thought of this video. Leave me a comment and come on back for more content like this, and I'll see you guys in my next one.